You're still here. And that means something. It means you didn't miss it. You didn't scroll past your confirmation. You didn't sleep through your signal. You're awake on August 8th. Today, everything starts aligning in plain sight. Yesterday was the whisper. Today is the echo. Today is the mirror. If August 7th was your divine hint, then August 8th is your undeniable evidence. This isn't theory anymore. This isn't subtle spiritual sensation. This is the manifestation beginning to take shape around you, whether anyone else sees it or not. You're no longer guessing. You're knowing. You're no longer seeking signs. You are the sign. You've entered the part of the story where things begin to feel eerily, beautifully aligned. The kind of alignment that makes your past finally make sense. All of it, the delay, the silence, the loneliness, the confusion, it's all part of the orchestration. What looked like being overlooked was you being quietly observed by the divine. What felt like being left behind was actually your timeline being preserved. Today, you're not just in your winning season, you're in the unveiling of it. The curtains are starting to open, not for the world to see yet, but for you to recognize that this is real. You're not standing on the edge anymore. You've crossed over. You're no longer waiting for life to give you permission. Life is waiting on you to realize you're already in motion. You're not behind. You're ahead of schedule in a world that only measures progress by noise and visibility. But you've been progressing in silence, growing in darkness, mutating in stillness, and now the light you carry can't be hidden, not even if you tried. Today is the moment you stop questioning the shift and start embodying it. Your frequency changed, and it's impossible to unfeel. You can walk into a room and sense the dissonance instantly. The conversations feel hollow. The surface-level smiles feel distant. Not because you're ungrateful or disconnected, but because you're operating from a higher altitude. It's not isolation. It's separation by vibration. And it's sacred. What no longer resonates isn't rejecting you, it's being gently removed to protect what you're becoming. You don't have to explain your evolution to anyone who's still tuned into your old channel. Your elevation isn't supposed to make sense to those who only knew you through your pain. Let them be confused. Let them call you distant. Let them say you changed. You have. That's the point. You didn't just heal, you outgrew the entire timeline that required you to suffer. And you did it silently. You did it without needing applause, without posting the process. Now you're living the results. You've entered a frequency where validation isn't a requirement. Purpose is your anchor now. Peace is your currency. And solitude isn't punishment, it's protection. You stopped waiting to be chosen. You remembered you were sent. And when you're sent, you don't audition. You arrive. That's why things feel different today. Because you've shifted from seeking into serving. You're no longer trying to fit in with a frequency that was designed to tame you. You're here to disrupt, to break, to burst something that couldn't exist through conformity. You're not climbing the ladder. You are the elevator. You're not in a season of being discovered. You're in a season of being deployed. And people will notice. Not because you told them, but because energy can't lie. You'll walk into a space and without saying a word, you'll shift the atmosphere. Not because you're trying to be powerful, but because power is now simply how you exist. And with that kind of presence comes resistance. Don't be surprised when old connections fade. Don't be discouraged when familiar places feel uncomfortable. It's not regression. It's revelation. You're not being pushed out. You're being pulled higher because you finally become too big for the spaces that once held you. Today is a spiritual checkpoint, a divine marker, the kind of moment that only those who are attuned can feel, a quiet knowing that everything inside you is aligning with something massive outside of you. But here's what makes this day different. You're no longer trying to prove it. You're no longer leaking energy trying to explain a destiny they were never meant to understand. This level doesn't require announcements. It requires awareness, sacred awareness, strategic stillness. You're being asked not to share, but to sustain, because your vision is still growing roots, and the wrong exposure too early can cause misalignment. So today, as you begin noticing the unfolding, resist the urge to overshare. You're not hiding. You're protecting the seed before the bloom. Because this time, your rise is not for applause. It's for assignment. The kind of assignment that doesn't need followers. It needs foundation. And that foundation is you, healed, whole, tuned in. The kind of you that can hold what's coming without collapsing under it. You've been misunderstood for so long, labeled too much or too intense, but all along you were just early. And now the world is catching up to conversations you walked away from years ago. It's not a coincidence. It's confirmation. You weren't wrong. You were just ahead. And today that gap is closing. The vision that once felt like a distant dream is now a daily reality. You no longer feel desperate for it because you're aligned with it. That desperation has dissolved into devotion. And that's the difference between chasing and attracting. You stop begging for alignment. Now you're commanding it through who you are. You become the embodiment of the prayers you used to whisper with shaky faith. And it shows. It shows in how you speak, in how you move, in what you no longer tolerate, in what you quietly walk away from without explanation. You are living in answered prayer territory, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally become the version of yourself who can carry it. The past didn't break you. It built you. The delays didn't deny you. They developed you. And today, August 8th, is the divine timestamp where you feel that truth settle in your bones. You are not the same. You are not supposed to be. The version of you that stayed quiet, that shrunk, that waited for permission has been laid to rest. And in its place stands someone unstoppable, not because of ego, but because of embodiment. You stop just believing in the vision. You become the vision. And as this energy continues to unfold, remember, not everyone will be able to walk with you at this altitude. That's not arrogance. That's resonance. Honor the ones who drop off the journey. They serve their purpose. But don't descend just to explain where you're going. Protect your altitude. Because what's coming isn't just about you. It's about everything that's coming through you. You were never supposed to be recognizable. You were designed to be revolutionary. You are always meant to be the pattern interrupt, the one who stopped the cycle, broke the mold, and walked away from the path everyone else called normal. And now you don't just carry light, you are the light. And that's why today, August 8th, marks more than a day on the calendar. It marks the moment your alignment became activation, when the timeline you were born to live finally caught up with the version of you that could handle it. So don't second-guess the silence. Don't doubt the shift. Don't panic when things feel unfamiliar. That discomfort is just the air thinning as you rise. You were not born to stay grounded. You were born to fly, and this is your liftoff. Today isn't just another day. It's a divine declaration that everything you endured, survived, healed, and outgrown was not for nothing. It was for this. For now. For August 8th, your undeniable confirmation that your winning season has not only begun, it has arrived.